My spring campaign had gone better than I could have ever imagined. Caught some amazing old carp, and it was topped off by the capture of a 40-pound fully, a real dream fish. Spawning had brought it to a close. I couldn't wait to get back for the summer and capitalise on my spring success. I was super keen. I was back the night that the lake opened, had 24 hours to fish. It turned out to be a great session, managed 3 fish, including one 30-pounder, but I was really keen to get back again. Thankfully, I only had to wait 3 days, and this time I had the camera crew in tow with me, and what a session that turned out to be too.
Yeah, I'm good from here. What's it going to be? A little lift?
Cool one, isn't it? Old Brian. Away, I'm away. Crazy, crazy, yeah, we've got Brian here. Just halfway through, having a quick look at him. And one remaining rod that was left out has ripped off. While that one's stuck in the weed, I'll just put him back, eh lads? One down. It is coming very slowly, but I think we'll wait for the boat rather than pulling its head off. So I'm pretty sure the fish is still on there. But it pays to be a little bit patient, so I've just put the rod down. The rod tip's just knocked then. Yeah, I'm going to just try and give that another tug, because he's definitely... Sometimes they kick their way out of the weed. Yeah, he's coming. Ollie, he's coming! There we go. No, he's coming, mate. Just hang tight a sec, mate. It's just kicked itself out. Since the spring, that month that it had been closed, the weed had really come up, and it was a real factor in all these battles, you know. Weed fishing, you need to be a little bit patient sometimes. You can't rush them. If they sort of get stuck in the weeds, sometimes you have to just wait, put the rod down, let the fish free itself. Thankfully at the Woolpack, there is a boat on hand, so if necessary and they do get stuck, you can use the boat. But I was trying to land as many fish as possible from the bank. Oh, they're fighting so hard at the moment. Come on. Whoa, hectic half hour. Yeah, it's just a small one, but wow, exciting. So that was another bite to the far margin spot. You know, it was starting to prove to be really productive. I'd had a couple of bites in the spring, and here we were in the summer, and it was rocking as well. The pole was massively beneficial. I could have cast over to it, but being able to get the rig out there without spooking the fish meant that the bites were coming pretty quickly. Bait wise, just fishing enough for a bite. Got a handful of party blend and a few tigers and a handful of Scopex squid flake and pellet. It's quite a lot of bait that, but there's a few roach and smaller nuisance species in here. Over the top, just the old multi-rig and a little orange instant action pop-up. Easy as that. Even at this point in the season, it was clear what a massive edge the pole was. The fish, you know, having been heavily fished for quite a few years, they knew what a rig landing near them was, they knew what the sound of bait was, and they were clearly terrified of it. The fact that I could place a rig almost by hand without them realising they were being fished for, yeah, it was a massive, massive edge. So that's another good banker spot, that one. That's done me 3 bites now. And I think kind of probably 90% of my captures out the lake are going to come from those 2 spots, which have done me most of the bites. However, I reckon if I want to catch those real big old ones, I might have to fish somewhere slightly different. Having already caught a couple, it was pretty clear that the fish were well up for feeding, so I didn't mess around. I made sure that I got my traps reset before I dealt with the fish. Well, what a hectic half hour. Had one in the net, just getting it out for pictures, and the only other rod that was left out has ripped off with this little beauty on. Really nice little common. Don't think I recognise him. But yeah, well pleased. Oh, he's well ready to go. About 4 out of 10 for a release there. Well, it's mid-morning now. I put the rods back out. And because it was just looking good, I already had a couple, but oh, it's weeded me now. Come on. Oh, it's just weeded me solid out there. Might just have to throw the waders on, go and try and get round. No, it's coming. It's coming. Another common. Ooh. Not a huge one, I don't think, but a bite's a bite. Oh, this is the worst bit, right by the net when they're rolling over on the hook link. Well, after the battle being in and out of the weed, he's still quite fresh. It's really shallow in front of this swim. Come on, in you come. Oh, typical. Well, it's always these small commons that fight the hardest. Come on. Gotcha. Yes. Yes. Huh. Right, long one. Result. Kind kind of cool, isn't it? Quite a character. That's kind of cool. Rounded at the top. And a little point at the bottom. It's a cool one. It's a lovely old Cambridgeshire cricket bat. Amazingly long for his size. Very likely an original one, I should think, looking at his tail and the length of him. Just a little old male. Third bite of a crazy morning. Welcome back to the Woolpack, eh? Number 3! Crazy morning at the Woolpack. Woo! So I would have been happy with 3 carp. You know, that's a season's worth for some, let alone in a day. But the action wasn't to stop there. The fish were hungry and they were still feeding. Oh, I've got a double take. It's another one on that rod. That's a double take. One of you grab that one. You are kidding me. Just hold on to him, Bradders.
Do you know what you're doing, Brad?
I don't even know if this one's still here. It's got a big ball of weed.
He was moving, Brad. He was moving.
A few little knocks every now and then, but in the weed.
I don't know if this one's still on. Trying net and weed. Yeah, he's in there. He's in there. Right, that's one. What an absolutely crazy occurrence. I mean, 3 bites in the morning is pretty unheard of at the Woolpack. So to have a double take, and it was a double take, wasn't it? Literally within 10 seconds of each other. Lucky I had the lads on hand because that was hectic. Oh, they're all fighting so hard at the moment. Oh, get in there. Yes. What a crazy 10 seconds. 10 seconds between the bites. Incredible morning. It's not even morning, is it? It's like 3 o'clock now, but. Well, there we go. A true brace of Woolpack carp. Double take, and I wouldn't have been able to deal with it. It would have been interesting if the lads weren't here. So thanks, brothers. Cheers for helping out. Yeah, a couple have really spawned out, stocky mirrors, but 5 fish today. Unheard of. A crazy return. They're really on it. So it's 5-0 to me, and I'm packing up now because England are playing, and they're playing Germany. So let's hope it's 5-0 to us, eh? Let's get these back. So as much as fishing is life, there is one thing for most men that's more important, and that's England versus Germany. There was a big game that day, so in the afternoon we packed up, headed round the corner to Dan's to watch the game. It was a great result for the England. We'd had a good day, both fishing-wise and football-wise. So once that was done, we headed back to the lake. I had another couple of days at my disposal. The following morning, I didn't actually get a bite in the morning, but the fish were fizzing out in the middle, so I went chasing them with the pole. Had plenty of bubblers to go at, and I actually had my quickest bite yet. Do you know what? You tell people about it, and they don't believe you. It's just gone through that weed bed.
Stood out there drifting around.
How quick was that bite? 15 seconds? Not even that. Not even that. There's a big weed bed down the middle of the lake here, and the line's kind of caught in it. Fish is just on the other side. I've just got to get it through. Could do with a little bit over its head, it would make it calm down a bit. Oh, have I lost it? No, it's still on. Fully scaled. Just in case there's any doubt that that fish was foul hooked or not, you can see the rig in its mouth. Come on then. Oh, it's not fully scaled. I saw some scales at the back. It's a nice mirror though. Come on. Come on, then you come. Yes. I'm a bit astounded really. Carp fishing shouldn't be that easy, should it? Should it? He's well hooked. Plumb centre. There we go. There's something to be said for using a high vis hook bait, isn't there? If they can see it, they can choose to eat it. And that one, it must have just fallen in front of its nose and it has grabbed it straight away. Mad, isn't it? It was sort of quiet this morning. It just shows, you know, a little bit of watercraft, quick move. Proof's in the net there. So a massive part of my approach was staying mobile. I was quite fortunate in that the Woolpack 5 and 6 isn't a particularly busy lake, and it certainly wasn't during the week, you know, as much as the weekends were a little bit busier. I had the opportunity to move around and to chase the fish, and for me this was really important. I wasn't waiting for them to come to me, I was going and finding them. And sometimes I was moving off fish to go and look for fish that were more catchable. So I think that's quite an important point, is that sometimes it's worth rolling that dice. And with the pole, I could afford to roll the dice. You know, they were so scared of casting that once you'd laid a trap, you didn't want to reel in. You didn't want to compromise that move that you'd already made. But with the pole, it's really easy. Reel in, have a walk round, set another trap. Yeah, I think that was such an edge for me in the summer. It had been a really action-packed summer. I'd had I think 30 odd bites by mid-August, which was, you know, it was really my kind of fishing. I like fishing for bites, you know, I'm not a target angler. I don't like sitting around for ages and waiting. It really suited my style of angling, being mobile, chasing the fish around the pond, setting little traps in front of them, keeping the bites coming. As much as I love that kind of fishing and keeping the bites coming was, you know, was great, it became a little bit more than that for me. It became a little bit of an obsession. I wanted to catch that carving real bad. One of the good things about the Woolpack was the social element to it, and there was a really good gang of lads on there, and quite often we'd end up having a couple of beers in the evening. And actually, one evening we were sat in Luke's swim, celebrating Liam Bartrop's capture of another fish from Lake Severn, and Luke had a fish called the Friendly Linear, you know, lovely carp. I'd missed seeing it in the spring, but yeah, it was amazing to see it do his pictures and be part of the celebrations. And we had a little bit of banter as I walked back round to my swim that night. I said, I'm going to catch the carving tonight. And Luke laughed, you know, and said, no, I'm going to catch it. Anyway, lo and behold, that morning I slept under the stars and I woke up at first light to Luke looking down at me. And he just said softly, I've got the carving. And he kind of crushed my dream there and then. You know, it was a fish that don't get caught very often. And it was the one that I really, really wanted. Anyway, I swallowed that, I swallowed my disappointment and went and shared the moment with him. And it was a great moment, man. He really deserved it. And it was great to see it on the bank. What an amazing carp. And it kind of, if anything, it galvanised my need to catch that fish myself. As much as it was disappointing, seeing my target fish caught, actually the Woolpack threw me a bone that weekend and I caught 3 lovely, lovely mirrors. Fish that I didn't even know existed. And I think that was part of the appeal, is that the stock was a total mystery to me. Although I knew there was a few carp in there, I hadn't seen pictures of most of them. So when a, you know, a 30-pound scaly one pops up in front of you that you've never seen a picture before, it's kind of cool. So yeah, I was enjoying it. I was really enjoying it. As much as I was getting a lot of bites from those productive spots, I felt like in order to catch that one, I was going to have to change my approach a little bit, change the areas that I was fishing. There was one particular area which I was sure was going to give me a good chance of catching it. I'd seen the fish in that first in 5 swim quite a lot, and this particular area was one that it was very difficult to cast to. It was along the margin, but it was under an overhanging tree. You could see from the swim that there was a stick sticking up out of the margin, and this to me looked like a prime rubbing stick, just the sort of place that an Aggie common would frequent. I was certainly quite good at catching the commons on there. I think I was up to 9 or 10 commons, mainly small ones, but I knew that I was kind of on the right lines. You know, they're slightly different to the mirrors, the commons. They behave slightly differently. They like that shallow water. So I kept persevering with those spots, those unusual shallow spots where I thought that I would stand a chance of catching that big one. Although it had already been caught a couple of times, I actually felt like I was quite close. I think I'd had my 10th common on that trip, and I'd sent a message to a couple of mates saying, 20-pounder, about half the size I want, send your daddy. And I really meant it. I really wanted that fish badly. So yeah, I ended up chasing the fish again round the pond, and I moved to my 3rd swim of the session. I'd seen a couple of really good ones in the mouth of the channel, and just on dusk I set some traps. I set a couple at the mouth of the channel, and I set one underneath the bush down the margin next to the rubbing stick. You know, that spot, I was persevering with it. I had a feeling that at some point it'd throw me a bone and do me a decent fish. I woke up to a first light bite, you know, as often happens there. Very rarely caught them during the night, but it wasn't a ripper. It was a bit tenchy. I ended up hovering over the rod for a while the bobbin bounced. Wasn't sure whether to hit it or not. Was it a liner? Anyway, eventually I lifted into it, and there were a couple of sharp head shakes, and I thought, oh, that's a tench. Sort of gave a little bit of strain, and it pops up on the surface and like thrashed, you know, not a tench, you know, this was obviously a carp, and not a small one either. Anyway, it sort of zigzagged back towards me, and every time it hit the surface, it like erupted. But it wasn't until it was like right in front of me and it kited past me that I actually saw the peck. Now, the carving's got like a spiky little peck on one side. It's almost like a hand. And it was quite clearly that. I could see it, you know. I'd photographed the fish for Luke a month earlier. I'd got a really good look at it, and here it was like kiting past me, and all of a sudden shit got real, you know, things got serious. It was the one that I really wanted. Ollie boy, cheers man. I'm going to ring you back. We're just about to do pics, man. Literally just getting her out. All right, man. Speak to you soon. Bye, bye, bye. Oh, this is it. This is the one. This is the one. Oh, he's heavy. That's a proper common. That is an amazing common. Yes. Can you see this, lads? On one side, it's perfectly scalloped. On this side, it's like fingers. It's really cool. Got a leech on the corner. Look at that. Real character. Thick. And that tail, little rounded heart tail. What a beautiful carp. Beautiful carp. Just like a finger in it.
Oh my God, where's that from? It's Oli carving.
Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. I think I didn't realise how much that fish meant to me or how much I'd become obsessed with it until I actually looked down in the net. And I don't usually get that excited over captures. I don't, you know, like, but this one had me pacing around the swim, cursing and jumping up and down, and you know, I've got it, I fucking got it. And yeah, don't normally react like that. It was like a special capture, a real special capture. Thankfully, Bradders was nearby. He came down and shared the moment with me. And it was kind of a little bit more special that there was just the two of us as well. Yeah, it was a really cool moment, and it was every bit as good as I dreamed it was going to be.